Hello and welcome to Real Men Feel. This is a very different Real Men Feel. This is the first time I'm on location. I'm your host, Andy Grant, author, coach, healer, and speaker. You can visit theandygrant.com to learn more about me, but you're probably wondering, what the heck am I doing today? Actually, tonight, it's about 11:30 p.m., November 17th. I'm at the Covenant House Sleepout in Boxboro, Massachusetts. I'm part of Team Boston for Cisco, and this is the first time that the Boston area has done this sleep out. People sleep out for one night in solidarity with homeless youth of America and of the world, actually, and we raise money. And this has been the first fundraiser I've been a part of since I think I was in the 7th grade. I did some sort of walkathon thing, but I think my goal was $5,000. The last I checked, I think I was like at $4,800, maybe something like that. Overall, my company, Cisco, worldwide, 750 Cisconians are sleeping out tonight, and they've raised over $1.5 million. It's just amazing. And it's 32 degrees right now. The forecast low is 26. There are wind gusts of like 25. It's one night. It's like big deal. I know I can go home tomorrow. I know, I had dinner tonight. I'll be warm tomorrow morning. I'm going to be fine. And this is all done to raise money and bring awareness to people that aren't fine and that don't have a choice and are out on the street struggling each and every night. And Covenant House gives those young people, ages 18 to 21, somewhere to go, a hand up. And they give it's way more than a shelter. There's a whole program, and I'm going to be talking to different people tonight, overnight, in the morning, going to document my own experience here. I have done plenty of freeze-outs, do lots of camping trips with my buddies, but I realized getting ready for night, I'm always drunk at those. So this is my first sober freezing experience, and it's going to be great. Covenant House is someone that I donated to already before I even discovered that Cisco was a big corporate sponsor and that this sleep out was even a thing. So I was very excited to be part of this and to be here. When I was 18 and 19 years old, I was kicked out of my house, and it was, neighbors took me in for a while. Then I was living in my dad's basement for a while, and things could have gone a lot worse, and things do get a lot worse for a lot of people. I've had plenty of Real Men Feel guests that talked about, they hit rough times, then when they were homeless, and things got even rougher. So it's nothing glamorous about living on the streets. This sleep out is not about pretending to be homeless. It's not about pretending one night out here is anything about the experience. It's just to raise awareness and to raise funds. So that's what we're doing.
My name is Jill Vorndran. I'm the Chief Development Officer, and I've been with Covenant House for 23 years, since 1999. Tonight we are doing our first sleep out in Boston. And so the sleep out program has been a part of our movement for the past 13 years. And this is our very first time of gathering folks together in Boston who care about homeless young people and helping them to change their lives.
And sleep out is this one night a year, and it happens worldwide or only in Boston?
No, it happens worldwide. Yep. Tonight our first. I got the first picture of our first team of sleepers in Japan at noon Eastern time today, and it's happening all the way through to the evening in Mexico, in California, in Vancouver, in Alaska, and then time zones in between. So we're all over the place tonight. Yep.
So, and what is the point of the sleep out?
Yep.
Why is anyone doing this?
Well, we do it for two reasons. One is to raise awareness about the problem of youth homelessness, which often goes undiscussed and unseen. And the second is to raise money to support the programs of Covenant House that are helping young people to turn their lives around. And all of it is with being in solidarity with young people who are experiencing homelessness. It's not intended at all to mimic or pretend that we can even begin to experience in one night under safe conditions what it's like to experience homelessness, but to sleep outside and lose some of the comforts of home in solidarity.
What's the age range of people that might find themselves in a Covenant House?
Yeah, in the United States and Canada, it's largely young people who are between the ages of 18 and 21. And so in those two countries, the foster care system typically cuts off at age 18. And so at that point, if a young person doesn't have a family and isn't equipped, as my 19-year-old isn't equipped to live independently, that's when they often find themselves homeless. And so that's where the cliff of services often ends, is on the 18th birthday. In the 4 countries where we serve in Latin America, we serve young people who are much younger. And so that ranges about, the average age is about 14. So it's 10 to 18 is the age in Latin America, really for the same reason, that that's where services cliff and Covenant House has to step in.
It's cold. What are you saving people from?
Right, yeah. It's a great question. It's such an intersectionality of so many issues. It's rarely a young person comes to us with one problem, right? And so sometimes that's the case, but that's especially the case when mental health is the primary issue, is that sometimes that is just too much for a family to bear, especially a family that may already have modest means or be overwhelmed. And so, but mental health is a big component where families can't often care, or the mental health runs in the family. And so there is a prevalence of mental illness that drives young people to us. The biggest common denominator is, goes without saying, is poverty, that it's young people who are coming from homes where there's been chronic poverty, or there's been a crisis in the family that has led to an impoverished situation, a death of a parent, a divorce, abandonment, job loss, the recessions and such, impact the communities where we serve. Young parenting is another through line through a lot of the young people who we serve, and not just young women, but young men as well. A major critical risk factor of homelessness among young people is if they are parenting a child alone. And so most of our programs have the option to bring in a child, or to move to another one of our programs that does, to really stop that cycle of homelessness. And then, of course, the demographic risk factors when it intersects with race. Majority of the young people who we serve are Black, Hispanic, or of indigenous populations, so young people of color. The LGBTQ population is dramatically disproportionately represented among homeless youth, and often it's family rejection or not finding their place within their community. But most often it's a combination of many of those factors that have a young person find their way to us.
For young people that are on the streets, is it roughly 50-50 men and women, or who comes to you and does actually get some help? What's the breakdown?
Yeah, it is about 50-50. Yep. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and in some of our communities, there are more young women, and some there are more people who identify as young men. Like there's but it's overall it is about half and half. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Is the sleep out always November 17th, or is it always is it intentionally the week before Thanksgiving?
We always have our biggest one the Thursday before Thanksgiving. When we first started it, the second or third year in, I remember one of our participants saying, "As long as young people are homeless, I will be sleeping outside the Thursday before Thanksgiving." And that's really always resonated with me as just an important time. One, because in much of the world, it's the beginning of it being incredibly cold out, as it is here, but also it kicks off that season of people gathering with their families and thinking about how to be generous and supportive of others. But we also do have anybody can participate in a sleep out by going on our website, covenanthouse.org, and doing a sleep out at any time. We have turnkey programs where people could set up a fundraising page, and we have programming there that folks can do with their family, their church group, their Girl Scout troop, and all to raise awareness and raise money for our young people. And then we do other ones. We had one last week, our Stage and Screen Sleep Out, which is Broadway performers and actors who participate. The actress Rachel Brosnahan, the marvelous Mrs. Maisel, is the one who leads that. She's been doing it for 10 years, and she recruits a bunch of folks to participate in that. So we do different ones throughout the year, but this is our big one. I think the most important thing to remember is that there really is there really is, there's no difference between the young people who are, who I see every day at Covenant House and the 4 teenagers who I'm raising in my own home, but for the luck of the draw, the family they were born into and the circumstances that have hit my family and the circumstances that have avoided my family. And so, and the same could be true for every one of the young people Covenant House serves and every one of our own families. And so in a country, in a world that's so divided in so many ways, this is a place, like this is a movement that every single person can get behind and feel good about. That these young people, all they want is what we all want for our children and for our families, is happiness, normalcy, have some fun, and live healthy lives together.
The sleep out is, well, what little sleeping out there was for me is over. It's, I think it's like 5:20 in the morning. It's 28 degrees. I feel really good. It was not a pleasant night. It was very cold. All my stuff, my limited stuff, is covered in frost. I've been awake since 4. I think I might have slept from like 1:30 to 2:30 solid, and then just like a lot of fitful naps. Hard to get comfortable. My box picking was not ideal. My box was just exactly as wide as my shoulders, so I couldn't move well. I couldn't even move my arms enough to zip up my sleeping bag. So, but with all that said, it was a really cool night. Spiritually, emotionally, not just weather-wise. A lot of amazing people here. At like 4:15, I went inside and was just chatting more with the staff, learning more about Covenant House and the history and all the services and just the turnarounds that they've been able to do for so many young people. Last night we broke up in different smaller breakout groups and got to hear from 2 alumni of the Covenant House from New York City, Maya and Nikita. Nikita has gone on to get her master's degree in counseling. So this is an amazing group, an amazing cause, and by being privately funded, by not relying on government at all, they get to do what they think is right for each person that they come into contact with. It's really cool. I think I will be doing this each year. It's weird. I feel so grateful. I don't know why. I guess it's for everything. That a crappy night of sleep in the cold on the pavement outside is just like, I choose to do it. I don't have to do it, and by making that choice, I don't know, it's like I can appreciate everything else that I can choose. So, be good to yourself, be good to each other, and I invite you to have a little more compassion for the people you might see on the streets.